Shake it off. Shake it off. And welcome back to the Nub. I'm the Merce.
It's me, Felton.
And Triple B.
And I think we totally screwed up that opening because that's just how we do it here at the Nub Podcast.
It's fine.
So how are you guys doing, man? It's been a while since we talked. Everything going good in your lives?
Yeah.
No CPAP, no CPAP issues?
No, not yet. I'm not actually sure I'm even awake right now. I might just be having another nightmare.
I see. So basically, your life revolves around Leo DiCaprio movies, like Shutter Island and The Revenant.
Yes.
Do you carry a top with you just to make sure?
Yeah, actually, I'm spinning it right now, and it just toppled, so I think I'm awake.
All right, so you're good then. All right. Well, this time I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I want to jump in to your guys' segments first, and then talk about some other stuff after that. Does that sound okay? You guys okay with that?
Sure.
All right. So we'll start with Mr. Triple B. Do you want his with some sweet Kickstarter news, a little hot shot of it?
Absolutely. I've got one here that I think looks like a lot of fun. Very, very fun. It's called The Middle Age. And it's about a middle-aged knight trying to go through quests and it looks hilarious.
Oh my God! So he wakes up with back and knee problems and stuff. It takes he has like a 30-minute coughing fit when he wakes up before he starts to put on his armor and stuff.
Right. They're actually working on Volume 2. He's lost his sword, the love of his life, and he's trying to get them all back in this next quest. So,
oh my God!
I'll link that. It's so.
Is he balding too? Please tell me he's balding. Like some male pattern baldness going on.
There we go.
One actually,
it's hard to tell the way.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun, though. I'd like to read that. The middle age, huh? I love it. All right, Mr. Felton, what do you got for us, Vigigame wise?
All right. Well, the Killing Floor 2 new Halloween event is in full swing. They're offering their DLC weapons, which there's some pretty cool guns this go around that they're offering. So if you want to check that out, go to Steam. If you don't have Killing Floor by now, it's been on sale for super cheap so many times. It'll probably run great on most PCs these days, so that's good to know. We also have... actually, I'm trying to pull up the date right now. We've finally got confirmation that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be released on PC. So,
okay.
I don't know. I thought that I saw... Okay, you can start pre-ordering the game on October 9th, so that's passed, and its release date is November 5th. So, people like me
those of you
waiting.
Yeah. Those of you in the Master Race will finally be able to have your horse drive you off of ledges and stuff and fall to your death. That's gonna be awesome.
I'm so excited to find. The thing of it is I've always wondered what it was like to be like a cowboy in the old, cowboy times with, like TB and what that entailed. And Arthur Morgan, I finally feel like that character gave people that experience. So I'm excited to see what that was like. The TV simulator.
So basically, you've never been to Ocala then. Got him.
And oh God. And my last bit of news. I found out. Now this is crazy. So there was this game that was coming out. It was called Death Stranding. And you star as Norman Reedus in the game, right? Have you heard of this?
Is this the game? If I'm not mistaken, it has a urine simulator aspect to it.
Yes, finally you can.
That is this game.
You can use pee as a weapon.
I'm not sure. I don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast, so I'm not sure.
Have we not? Because the pee gameplay It is a proud tradition in games, apparently, according to Inverse.com. So, sorry, I have to throw that in there occasionally.
That's awesome. So what's going on with it? I'm sorry, like I threw you off track. Your train of thought there.
No, I was just making a dumb joke.
Oh, okay. So now I've made the joke really awkward because I
You
brought it back to it.
You stole it from me.
I kind of screwed the whole thing up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, all right. So, a couple of things I'd like to talk to you guys about. A little bit more about the Melbourne Toy and Comic Con event that they had last weekend. I forgot to bring. Well, I guess by the time this comes out, it'll be like the weekend after last. But so I met an artist there named Jamie Jones. I've shared his stuff on the Nub, so go check him out. He's a great artist, great look to his art. Kind of in the vein of like the Goon, Triple B, if you know that kind of art style that they use for the Goon.
Yeah.
That kind of he's got that kind of vibe, so it's pretty cool. Also, what was it? I met people who are actually a fan of the podcast who have their own business that they were doing at the Melbourne Toy and Comic Con, and they sell they sell these handcrafted wares, and it's called Critical Hits Crafts, and you can buy this stuff online too. But when I was there, they had all these like awesome mimics on display, like jewelry box mimics. And even when you open up the jewelry box, on the inside, there'd be like teeth and stuff. I thought it was just fantastic. They were really, really cool. They had really cool looking books, like a Necronomicon looking kind of book, or like a cool book that maybe you could bring to your D&D games and stuff. It looks like a spell book. I mean, just some really awesome looking, just nerd centric, handcrafted nerdiness. And so check them out. I really love their work.
What was the store
Some
name?
good stuff. It's called Critical Hits Crafts. We actually have it on the. I posted on the Nub, but yeah, it's something to check out. And what else do we have going on before we get into the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about? So the Human Virus movie is going to be doing their casting call on October 26th at the Rubik's. First off, the Rubik's is an awesome place to check out anyways, whether you're going to the casting call or not. A bunch of consoles and stuff that are free to play, and then they got some good drink specials, and they've got some great food. I believe Felton almost stuffed himself to death with their meatballs, if I'm not mistaken.
Meatball sub.
Their meatball sub, yep. So definitely worth a look. All right, all that's out of the way. Episode 9, Star Wars Episode 9. All right, have you guys seen the trailers and stuff for it? There's a new one coming out, I believe, this week. But you guys have seen the trailers so far?
No.
I think I'm caught up, yeah.
Okay. So the fan theory community is going nuts. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't mean to tease something and then pull it back. One more thing I want to talk about real quick. Triple B. Do you know the comic book Bone by Jeff Smith?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen that Netflix has bought the rights to do a TV show?
I saw that, yes.
Oh man, I am so excited. I don't know, Felton. Do you know what Bone is?
I know what bones are.
So what Bone is? Bone is a comic book series by a man named Jeff Smith. It's one of the most successful independent comic books of all time. It started off just him producing it himself for a very long time. I think up to the 50th issue, and then he did like another 20 or something through Image, and then went back to producing it himself again. I think there's 100 issues altogether, something like that. Maybe more. I'm not sure exactly how many issues there are, but basically Bone follows the adventures of the 3 Bone cousins. It's these young, cartoonish-looking characters. They're all white. That have very varying different personalities. And they are adventuring through this world of like high fantasy, with a very comical twist to it, and some very interesting and emotional twists and turns. Actually, it's a cartoon style comic book epic, I guess is the best way to put it. And the fact that they're making it into a Netflix show, I mean, that's just perfect. I think that's a perfect platform for a story like this. The Bone brothers themselves, or Bone cousins themselves, they all look like very simplistic cartoon characters, but a lot of the environments and a lot of the people around them look more like more, not, I wouldn't say realistic, but more cartoon realistic, if that makes any sense at all. So I'm very excited about it. It's very interesting. I myself have only read a small amount of Bone. I hate to say, I really wish that I could claim that I've read more of it. I do need to go back and actually really just read some Bone, but yeah, I know it sounds like I'm doing some kind of like commercial for porn or
It
something.
sounds
You know,
like
like
you're doing a bit. Like, who
I know
wants
it
to
does.
ride the bone train?
It does sound like I'm just trying to go somewhere naughty, but I'm really not. Like, this is a real thing. I mean, you can back me up on this, Triple B, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I'm not doing a bit. I'm not like, I'm not like pulling your leg here. Like, oh yeah, there's this comic book called Bone, and I just want to say Bone a bunch, like, like the 90s group, bone, 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 bone. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. All right. Anyways, I'm excited about it. I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure that you'll watch the hell out of it, Felton, even though you don't, believe that it's a real thing right now. So.
No, I linked it. I
All
found
right.
the Wikipedia.
Okay, good. Makes me feel better then. All right. So that's out of the way. Now, well, how do you feel about that, Triple B? Are you excited about that?
I am. Hopefully they'll do it justice. I mean, Netflix has been pretty solid with a lot, especially their more independent comic book stuff. So
Yeah.
I think
Have you read a lot of Bone?
not a whole lot. I need more Bone, but
I think we
haven't
all
read a
do.
whole lot. Yeah,
I think we all need. Think we all need a little more Bone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Anyways. All right. So off the Bone. Let's get back to it. So Star Wars Episode 9. The reason I brought this up, I want to bring this up as a discussion for us. Okay. So the fan theories are going like just bonkers on this one, which is great. I always love how there's all these like fantastically awesome Star Wars fanfics or fan ideas that come out before the next movie comes out, and it's really cool because people spend hours and days and months and years like creating this really cool idea of what they think the next movie is going to be, and then it's nothing like that at all when the movie comes out, and it's actually kind of straightforward and even a little boring sometimes when it comes to that. I know I might get some hate on this, but it's true. Like, I think the fan theories that come out typically are so much more awesome than the actual movies a lot of times. Like, don't get me wrong, I tend to enjoy the movies. I did not enjoy the last one that came out, but I tend to enjoy the Star Wars movies pretty well. I even like the prequels. I know that a lot of people hate them, but I mean, they're okay, right? Now, this one situation, though, this one movie, I believe because it's being made by fans for fans in a lot of ways. I mean, J.J. Abrams is a huge nerd, and a fan of the series. I believe that maybe we might see some of these actual fan theories make it in. All right, and let me just discuss real quick what some of the fan theories are, and then we can talk about it, okay? One of the fan theories is that Rey is, born to the Force like Anakin was, right? Like, she might have a mother, but she doesn't have a father. She's just created by the Force, again, to equal out the Force, That's one of the ways they're going with. Another thing they're going with, because we know that Emperor Palpatine's making a comeback in this movie, correct? You guys have heard his like
right, yeah.
crazy laughter and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's making a comeback in this. So a lot of people think that Rey might be a clone, and that she was originally cloned maybe to be a body or a vessel for Emperor Palpatine to come back into, and somehow, some way, somebody snuck her off, maybe Han Solo, back when she was a baby, to Jakku, and she was left there to be raised out of his reach, kind of like Luke was raised out of the reach of Darth Vader, And some people might say, "Oh, but Han didn't know who Rey was when they first met." Did he? Did he not? Because first off, she could understand Chewbacca, and second of all, for somebody who didn't know who Rey was, he seemed awfully comfortable to be hanging around with her, and then he offers her a job, like literally right after their first like encounter, like when like after they're safe finally, he's just like, hey, so you want a job? Like, you want to fly around with me, hang out with me and Chewie? You know what I mean? So again, who knows? And then what was one of the other big theories that they're saying? Um, Oh, and then one of the other theories is that she might be a clone of Darth Maul. And the only reason they say that is because in the preview, the trailer, you see she has that weird lightsaber that opens up and it becomes a dual lightsaber. Although I think that's more because she's a bow staff user, and so she would be better with a lightsaber more akin to Darth Maul's. But I don't know. So those are the topics up for discussion, I guess, as it were. Where do you guys fall on some of these these fan theories? Or have you heard other fan theories that are even more interesting?
I don't have any fan theories that I think are more interesting. I think after the ones you've mentioned, they start getting more and more far out there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I think that it'll end up being something completely different that nobody else thought of yet, and so we'll hype ourselves up over some of these things and go, oh, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, and then we'll be epically disappointed because it's neither one of those things.
Which is typically the way it goes
Right.
with the Star Wars movies. Like, there'll be all these like crazy fan theories, and then it's nothing at all like them. You know. The only one I think might have some validity is that Rey might be a clone, that she was meant to be a vessel for Emperor Palpatine. And the only reason I think that is first off, we know that cloning exists in canon in the Star Wars movies, obviously, right? The whole Clone War saga, right?
Right.
We also know that there is the ability for a Sith Lord to come back from the dead, as you know, Emperor Palpatine told the story to Anakin in Revenge of the Sith, I think it was, or whichever, or the Clone Wars is one of the two, you know.
Yeah.
So we
Have
know.
I told you the tragedy of Darth Magus the Wise? Right?
And then on top of that, because you know everything else in the extended universe is now no longer canon, right? But you know Disney allowed for these comic books to be made and video games and things like that that are now considered canon. And Marvel has been putting out canon comic books, and in the Marvel comic books we find that which is something that was a holdover from the old extended universe, but we find that the Sith Lords have the ability to attach their essence to artifacts, right? To evil artifacts. Whereas the Jedi, they become Force ghosts, as it were. The Sith become like a Force poltergeist, kind of. You know, they haunt a. It's kind of what it is.
Like
You
a
know?
Force
They kind of
Voldemort.
haunt. Yeah, exactly. It's like a Horcrux, right? So I noticed that they put an emphasis. They put an emphasis a couple times now in the new movies on Vader's helmet. Have they not?
Oh, yeah.
And they also show it in the newest preview. They show his helmet again. So what's to say that Emperor Palpatine wasn't, you know, just chilling around haunting his helmet, waiting for his chance to come back? So I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't know what they're going to do with Rey. I do have to say though, I know there's a lot of people that say that she's like a what do they call her? A Mary Sue character, which I don't believe that at all, because she has struggled you know, in fights and things like that. She's not all powerful, but at the same time, depending on who she turns out to be, she might not be a Mary Sue. She might just literally be that powerful. You know, if she is like Luke, where she was, or like Anakin, I'm sorry, where she was born of the Force. I mean, Darth Vader was one of the most powerful Sith in the universe, right? So, you know,
I mean,
if it,
is that true?
Go ahead.
Because I thought Luke was the most, like, powerful Force user ever. I mean, other than
Not-
the god beings and crap like that.
no, not in the movies. You gotta remember, like the movies are the only canon now, besides like the extended stuff that they're doing with like the Marvel comics and things like that. Back in the day with the extended universe, we found out that Luke Skywalker was the most powerful being in the universe because he had learned how to merge the dark side and the light side and use both sides of the Force. But that wasn't established now with this new continuity.
Well,
So,
I also thought too it
uh,
was because he became like the Force avatar for the light side too, because like after the war, after the events of the movie, there were like no Jedi, so he
but
became
there were no Sith.
the
There were no Sith either. So he just became an avatar of the Force
yeah,
itself.
yeah, yeah. So and then he tried to open the school, and then
Hmm.
Jedi Academy, and then as we know,
But none of that stuff is canon now, though.
Ben
Is what I'm trying to tell
Solo
you.
Ben Solo became emo, and well, what about? I
Yeah.
mean, the Force Academy though is now still kind of canon,
Well,
isn't it?
I don't know about the Force Academy itself and the stories that went along with it because I don't think those stories are accurate. But he did try to start a school for teaching the ways of the Force. He did try to start a Jedi school. With that is canon from the movies.
Yeah.
But like all the Jedi Academy stuff, I have no idea. I mean, it's not supposed to be canon now, so I don't know. And they haven't really touched on a lot of that stuff yet, so we don't know. And I could be wrong in a lot of ways as far as like what is canon, what isn't canon, because I mean, as much as I love Star Wars and I try to keep up with it, I mean, there's just so much, and I have way too many nerddoms to be like laser focused on Star Wars. So if there is anybody listening that is like hardcore focused on Star Wars nerddom, please, by all means, put in the comments if I'm wrong. Correct me. Because typically on the podcast I am wrong anyways. It's it's actually like it's my endearing trait. So, but yeah, like I don't know. I really am excited for this next movie coming up. I wasn't excited after seeing, what was it The Last Jedi? So that was the last one was called. I did not like the way they handled Luke's character a lot, and just some of the themes and stuff in it were not quite up to par for me. But I enjoyed it as far as like a popcorn flick, if that makes any sense,
Well, I mean, I
So,
feel like one of the things that kind of irked me was the lack of inclusion of the gray Jedi in the films and the canon stuff, because I feel like in the books and extended universe, like Qui-Gon was more gray, and that's why in his teachings to Obi-Wan, they kind of really didn't like him because he was kind of that, I don't want to say like anarchist figure, but he had
no, but
the
he was
ideals of the
though.
gray, and they were,
Yeah.
I mean, considered largely to be terrorists because they were ultimate focused on just evening out the Force, regardless of the outcome. They're like, well, we got to keep the Force even, so we've got to go blow up this planet because we just have to do that to keep the Force equal. And
Well, and if you pay attention to the prequel movies, right? If you pay attention to that first one, the Phantom Menace, right?
yeah,
If you pay attention to what Qui-Gon does and says, like he knows the prophecy, as they all do. They all know the prophecy, although he knows, according to the extended stuff, which again is no longer canon, but there's more to the prophecy than they discuss in the movie. But regardless, he knows the prophecy. He finds a kid who he thinks will fulfill the prophecy. He knows, just like the Jedi Council know, that that this child will bring balance to the Force. And he knows, like the Jedi Council knows, that there are currently maybe one, maybe two Sith out there. So in order to balance out the Force, there's going to be a shit ton of dead Jedis, right? Like there's going to be a lot of shit to come. I mean, some could almost argue, and he's my absolute favorite. He's one of my absolute favorite Jedis, but some could argue that Qui-Gon Jinn himself was not necessarily a Sith, but an agent of the dark side. Like he may not have upheld. He may not have. Held with the belief of the Sith, but he did believe in the balancing of the Force. So he knew that there was going to be a shite ton of death and destruction to come. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I think that if he hadn't been killed by Darth Maul like he had, it would have been an interesting story arc to see that play out. It would have been interesting to see it play out with Qui-Gon Jinn knowing that he is training and raising the boy who will balance out the Force, knowing that the Force is right now
Wait a minute, though.
completely out of whack.
So he was basically Ra's al Ghul in the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, he's just been playing. He's just been playing the same role over and over again. You didn't hear the part where he's talking to Darth Maul and he's just like, I have a very particular set of skills.
I can play
Skills that make me a nightmare. That make me a nightmare for people like you.
this very specific set of skills to play a beloved character who's actually
A villain.
A villain, you know, from a moral standpoint. I mean, God, that's funny.
So, yeah, I think it would have been very interesting to see how all that played out. You know.
Oh, he
Because
just straight become a villain, you know, because he come out as a gray Jedi, but you know, on paper they would view him as a villain because you know, he's done all this stuff and he corrupted Anakin and allowed him to be tainted by Ian McDermott, or the Emperor, and that would have been perfect. See, this is the
Right,
problem
that
I
would've been
have
really-
with Star Wars is they have these great opportunities. Like, okay, I thought Sith Jar Jar was dumb at first, but then
no, that's a brilliant
hold
fan
on,
theory.
Hold on, seeing the evidence and looking at it and how that would have impacted the Star Wars universe, I think that would have been, if they had done it, that's my problem with it. If they had actually done it, that would have been amazing. You know,
It would have been absolutely brilliant. And whoever put that fan theory together, like looking at all the evidence and stuff in the movies, which again, I mean, that's just people overanalyzing the film. I mean, obviously that stuff wasn't there for a real reason, but you know, you overanalyze the film, and you're like, wait a minute, this could be right. And that would have been a hell of a plot twist, and it would have made a lot of fans who hated Jar Jar, like absolutely hated Jar Jar, it probably would have made their day to be like, oh my god, Jar Jar was evil this whole time, you know?
I do feel bad for that actor, though, and I know we discussed it before, but that dude, he got an unnecessary amount of shade thrown at him for what he genuinely was playing that character, and that was his, like, you know, role of a lifetime. Like, he was so proud and happy to be playing a Star Wars character. He did not deserve that at all.
It was an honor to him, and yeah, the treatment that he got for that was ridiculous. The treatment that Jar Jar, the character, gets is ridiculous. I mean, if you look throughout Star Wars, like, they've had these characters in Star Wars. Like, there are the goofy, weird characters that are part of the Star Wars canon. I mean, it's part of the mythos, you know? I don't see, like the Porgs, for instance, you know? Like, some people, I love the Porgs. I think they're absolutely adorable, you know. But the Porgs, the Ewoks, Jar Jar, like all these things that are made to, because these movies are kind of supposed to be for the whole family to enjoy. I think a lot of people forget that. You sometimes have to have like that goofy plush doll, you know, character that kids can go, "Aw," you know. I mean, maybe I'm off, but I feel like that's I think that's George Lucas's whole focus. You know,
You gotta have
I
something
completely-
marketable.
Yeah.
and I don't even mean so much marketable. I mean, yeah, obviously they're all about the money when it comes to that kind of stuff. But you know, something that is like, you've got all these like heavy ideology and you know and drama mixed with action and stuff that honestly, if it was filmed is like a World War II movie instead of like a space fantasy opera, would probably be a lot more gruesome and horrific, right? But they make it a little lighthearted with the joking and the action scenes and the woo, you know, when they're like flying through black holes and stuff, right? So all part of that is, you know, you also have to get that, you know, you get these characters that are, you know, they're goofy, they're fun. You know, it kind of lightens the mood a little bit for the audience.
And something people might know about him. Ahmed Best is his name. The guy's got, despite, you know, everything that you know, people crapped on him, he's got a sense of humor, because he's come back every year when they do the Robot Chicken, like, various episodes they've done. He's come back and he did the Jar Jar Binks, and he did, like, you know, various stormtroopers and stuff for the show.
Well, the awful part is because of all the hate that he got, he became very depressed, and you know, apparently, I guess from like something I read or something, he was contemplating suicide and stuff. You know,
Yeah, he was going to throw himself off the bridge.
yeah, it's sad that playing a character like that, especially in what is probably a beloved franchise for him, like many of us, you know, he finally gets that opportunity to do something like that, and then it gets crapped on so hard. It's gotta be traumatizing in some way.
Yeah, I'm
But
gonna find that video and link it in here because it's a
This past summer,
tragic video, but I mean he has definitely a message of hope and positivity there.
yeah, his comeback from it's pretty amazing.
I'm gonna link that down at the bottom.
Where are we at time-wise there, Felton?
30 minutes.
I'm sorry?
30 minutes.
Oh, I thought you said 3 minutes. I was like, nah, I think it's been a little longer.
It's been like 3 minutes. I mean, we really fit. We've been it's all that Coca-Cola we've had.
We've been talking so fast that you're not even able to understand
I
it.
have to slow it down, actually.
All right. So, Mr. Quadruple B, I think it is your turn to roll the... No, because you rolled the dice the time before last, so it's actually my turn. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Quadruple B, to roll the die for me and either add, subtract, or do nothing with it.
Okay, I've got it here. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
And it almost fell off. 10.
And are you adding, subtracting, or doing nothing with that?
Let's add.
Add it, okay. Wow. I got a 9. So it's 19. So nobody tells any embarrassing stories this time. So I guess now that I'm all sad and depressed, we'll end this episode on a bad note. Bad podcast. Again, I'd like to have you guys please subscribe. Please like, hit the notification bell if you'd like, so you can be notified when we put up a new video. We're trying to do 2 podcasts a week, so we try to get them up around Tuesday and Friday. So if you're enjoying what we're doing, please, by all means, do that for us. And if you don't enjoy what we're doing, or you kind of enjoy what we're doing, or you think we should do other things, like go in the comments section. Like, let us know. Like, we're big boys. We can take it, Like, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you hate. If you hate my voice, I mean, you can just jump off a bridge, Jar Jar Binks style.
Oh God! If you want to call and just scream at me on the phone, that's fine. Just call me up. Just scream at me on the phone. I'll listen to it.
Telling you.
As long as you subscribe.
As long as you subscribe, though, subscribe first, and then you can talk all the smack you want. All right, guys. Well, it's been a good podcast. So I'll sign out saying that I'm the Merce.
It's Felton.
And Triple B.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one.